Welcome back to Expert Access. I'm sitting here with Dr. Lancaster, and we've been having an amazing conversation. But I want to dive into, you have a book coming out, and you've been working on this book for a long time. You have a lot of heart and soul into the book. Tell us about the book and what people can expect from this epic collection of your thoughts and teachings.
Yeah. Well, it was originally intended, and still is, for therapists primarily in how they work with their patients on the most deepest levels of reality, meaning the unconscious mind and beyond, so that all of that comes to fruition to our regular daily conscious mind. Like, for example, dreams. Number one, people organically, naturally have dreams, right? We can't help it. And it's because by the divine's grace, you could say, it has a voice, it has an agenda to help us. So a dream is like a mirror that is trying to help us, okay? And there can be some discussions in that dream with different figures where basically we are like on a Greek stage, and we have to participate on that Greek stage. We have to be part of the play so that we can interact with and understand and absorb the different characters on the stage, which are all just simply representations of our own inner powers and traits. Kind of like Paramahansa Yogananda has said, you know, many of you Westerners think we have millions of gods in Hindu religion, but there's really only one God who has many different powers and traits. Well, the same thing like in a dream, right? So we need to get to know those different powers and traits so that we can embody them into our regular daily life and benefit from their wisdom, from their grace, mercy, understanding, comfort, love. Now, number two, in regards to this book, it's especially about visions, or what Carl Jung called active imagination, which obviously the ancients understood as well, like the Gnostics, who influenced Carl Jung. And in active imagination, it's very similar to dreams, but it's actually on the highest level that I know of, because there's more power, there's more energy there, even in a dream, where it's more direct and understandable what the archetype, that superior reality, like an angel, for example, is saying to you. And so it's more easily understood versus a dream where you got to do interpretations. Which I also talk about in my book as well, how to do those interpretations for self-discovery. Yes, go ahead.
So the book is for therapists who want to take your unique approach and work with more people in the world, or is your book for the individual who's seeking this knowledge and seeking this healing? Who should be looking out for your book, and what's the name of your book?
Gnostic Pneumatherapy, The Path to Freedom. And it is from the Greek. Pneuma is meaning air, but God has a nature like the air that we breathe. So thus, it means spiritual as well. Pneuma therapeia, service to others, treatment of illness. So in this tradition of Gnosticism, like Buddhism, very similar, just like the mindfulness people, it's just a Western version of the mindfulness movement. And with Gnosticism, that love tradition knows these ways, these practices of dreams and visions, like I was explaining earlier. And that's very much throughout the whole book, which is a path. And so there's a step-by-step path where I mentor, and future therapists can mentor their patients to slowly come to this self-discovery about themselves, which they did not know before. Think of like the Greek mysteries, for example. It's pitch black in the temple, the Acropolis, and there's just lit torches along the way. And in comes the initiate who wants a new beginning, a new awareness. And the Hierophant, for example, the pneumatherapist, goes ahead and slowly helps them, stimulates them to go past their mind, to intuitively gain this knowledge I've been talking to you about this whole time that they did not have before. And step by step, you could say torch by torch, they continue to blossom in a way where their consciousness expands and they start to know a new knowledge that's going to help them to live this world more peacefully, unlike before when they didn't have that. Now they have it. And therefore, the gift, you could say, is revealed at the end, like in the Greek mysteries. And I'm not going to say what that gift is. You might want to buy my book or come see me, because the gift is always a mystery. But that's where, I'll give you a clue, that's where you have your profound experience, is when the gift is revealed at the end, like the Hierophant or the Pneumatherapist reveals that gift, so that you can have a wow experience like you've never had before.
All right. So in layman's terms, your book is going to be that guide post, that guiding pathway to help therapists help fix this broken world by helping people. Now, most of our audience is probably not credentialed therapists or looking for, a new method, a new methodology. If you're sitting in our audience today and you were listening to you, what are some really practical, I'm looking for that boiled down, life-changing, for our audience who's looking for that expert that can walk away with something practical today to help better their life, change their life, a unique strategy, a unique approach, or maybe some of the methods that you do with your patients. What are 2 things that you can give our audience today that will help them today and for the future?
Well, I'm a very in-depth therapist here, so this is a wonderful challenge, a challenging question. But as I was saying earlier about dreams and visions, most respectfully, for example, Carl Jung said that even an atheist can have a religious experience, which they may not recognize as such, but yet it spontaneously happens, right? Like a dream, let's say, can have some spiritual implications that could possibly be helpful for certain people. And by the way, I do have a very deep love and respect for atheists. I work with them all the time, so that's never an issue. I'm accepting to all people. But the thing is that there's a fourfold approach. For example, if you read the book of Dr. Robert Johnson, who talks about the 4 stages of doing professional dream interpretation, where, for example, in stage 1, there's associations. You have different figures you see in a dream, you associate to it. And then you amplify that, meaning you associate to worldwide truths that relate to what you just experienced. And then in step 2, you're going ahead and going within. How do I relate to that figure that popped up inside my dream? How am I like that? And then step 3 is the interpretation of all of that. What is the overall message for my daily life? And in step 4, thus, now is what is your daily ritual? So this is very similar to number 2, which is the active imagination, which is primarily in my Gnostic Pneumatherapy book, where in a very similar way, you are going ahead and doing the same thing, but you're even more active than in a dream. In a dream, it's like you're at the movie theater watching, okay, well, I wonder what they're going to show tonight. And you're eating your popcorn, okay, I wonder what they're going to show. Oh, look at this, look at that. But sometimes dreams cannot be helpful if you're just with your popcorn watching the movie at night while you're asleep. In active imagination, which I primarily emphasize, you're more participating. You're talking to the figures. You're absorbing their energy. You're having a transformation of consciousness. Your anger is now peace, for example. Your dishonesty is now truth. You see, so you want those inversions to happen in your mind's awareness, so that way you can, in a very common, grounded way in life, go ahead and be that divinity. Namaste.
So, not to simplify your work oversimplify your work, but I do want to take it to what I think our audience can really get value from. We want to be aware and we want to learn interpretation, and we sometimes need a guide to do that. No one better than Dr. Lancaster, who we've met with today, coming out with a new book available to speak on your stages, and I'm so excited to have had you here on Expert Access. Thank you very much.